Greeting my fellow PAL hunters, Ghost here with another video, and in this video we're going to go over ways you can spice up your Palworld experience through custom settings. Stay tuned! So to change custom settings for your world, you need to be at the start menu. Go to start game, select the world that you want to change, go to change world settings, and then here's a button called custom settings. Go into here and then you can change all of your different settings for your world. And we're going to go through all of it today. Start things off, we're going to go over daytime speed and nighttime speed. So if you have this all the way up, that will be quicker daytimes, and if you have it all the way down, it'll be shorter daytimes. So if you want your daytime to be slower, you want it to be all the way down. If you want them to be quicker, you turn it all the way up. Same thing with nighttime speed. If you want shorter nights, turn it down. If you want quicker nights, turn it all the way up. XP rate. So this is the amount of experience you gain per kill, per item pickup, per PAL captured, etc. Anything you do within the world is governed by this with experience. And it goes by multiplication. So if it's all the way up, times everything by 20. Down, times everything by 1 or 0.1. So the higher it is, the more experience you get. The lower it is, the less experience you get for doing things in the world. PAL capture rate. This just increases the chances of catching PALs within the world. Higher it is, the better chances you get, and the lower it is, the less chance you get. PAL appearance rate. Note this does affect game performance. So yes, it does affect the game if your PC can't handle it. This allows you to see more PALs within the world. This allows you to see more world bosses at a given times. Like you saw in the intro video, there were 3 chillets at that world boss location. This is basically times 3. So if it's at 3, everything that you see is tripled. This is 0.5, so it's less, so it's not as much. It just adds to the amount of PALs you see within the world, and I'm going to show some clips on what that looks like. And of course, there's always more syndicate people you have to fight against by increasing the PAL spawning. More miniguns, more rocket launchers, more grenades, and more guns. Also, we have better chances of finding shinies. We'll keep that in mind as well. Or I should say lucky. Or maybe you just want to have an epic battle with Paldus and Necromus. Increasing the amount of PALs spawning will also increase the amount you fight here. Meaning that you will fight against 6 of them instead of 3 or 2. Scary, huh? So damage from PAL multiplier and damage to PALs multiplier. This is basically PAL on PAL damage. This is how much your PALs will do to other PALs. So from your PALs, this is the damage that you'll do. So the higher it is, the more damage your PALs will do. The lower it is, the less damage your PALs will do. And damage to PALs, this is the damage that they will receive from sources. So the higher this is, the more damage they take. The lower this is, the less damage they take. Hunger depletion rate and PAL stamina reduction rate. This applies to your PALs. So if you don't want your PALs getting hungry all the time, turn it all the way down. That way, basically, they never get hungry. They still get hungry, but it's at a slower rate. The higher it is, the quicker their hunger depletes, and the more often they want to eat. Same thing with stamina. The higher this is, the quicker their stamina is reduced whenever they're doing actions in the game, whether they're attacking or running or riding them, etc. The lower it is, the less stamina drains for them. So you can fly longer, you can run longer on them, etc. This does affect flying and riding them as well. PAL auto health regeneration and PAL sleep health regenerate. This affects the PALs, how much life they gain over time. So the higher this is, the more life they get per second. The lower it is, the less health they get per second. Same thing with sleeping inside the PAL box. So if they are hurt and wounded and you put them in the PAL box, this allows them to regenerate health quicker per second. Note that this does not affect incapacitated pals, it still takes 10 minutes inside the pal box for them to be revived. Damage from player multiplier and damage to player multiplier. This affects your player as your person. So damage from player, this is how much damage you are going to do to all sources around you. Pals, bosses, etc. So the higher this is, the more damage you do. The less it is, the less damage you do to sources around you. Damage to player multiplier is the damage that you take. So the higher this is, the more damage you take from all sources, and the lower it is, the less damage you take from all sources. Player hunger depletion and player stamina reduction rate. The same thing with the PAL. So you want your character to get hungry quicker, you turn it all the way up. If you don't want to deal with hunger issues too much, turn it all the way down. Same thing with stamina. If you don't want to deal with stamina, turn it all the way down to keep it down, and turn it all the way up for more stamina draining and stuff. Player auto health regenerate rate, player sleep health regeneration rate. Same thing with the PALs. The higher this is, the more HP you regenerate per second. The lower this is, the less HP you regenerate per second. While walking around, basically. This is for sleeping, this is for walking around. So have this lower, the less life you get. Higher, more HP you get per second. Damage to structure multiplier and structure deterioration rate. So the higher this is, the more damage your structures will take. The lower this is, the less damage your structures will take. The deterioration part, if it's at 0, your structures will not deteriorate outside of your base. So you can basically build anywhere and not have to worry about your structures deteriorating over time. The higher it is, the quicker it deteriorates and destroys itself. So if you want to build anywhere within the world, keep this on 0. Maximum number drop items in the world. So this affects everything that's on the ground, basically the chest, the woods that you see, the stone, the PAL spheres, etc. The higher this is, the more items you'll see throughout the world. The lower it is, the less items you'll see on the ground. So if you don't want to see any items on the ground, keep it 0. If you want to see a lot of items on the ground, turn that bitch up to 50 or 5,000. Now these 4 took me a bit to figure out. So gather item multiplier, gatherable object health multiplier, and so on. So the multiplier is how much you gather from an object when you're mining it. So like mining ore, mining stone, sulfur, etc. Higher this is, the more items you get from that. The lower it is, the less items you get. The gather health is how much HP these ores and stones have. So the higher it is, the longer it takes for you to mine it. The lower it is, the less time it takes you to mine it. So if you have it super high, it does have more health, and if you have this up as well, you can get more resources from it. It just takes longer to mine it fully. So for me, my settings, I have it at 3 and 1. This gives me 120 ore from 1 ore vein, and as opposed to this, which is probably, I haven't even tested, I'm sure it's tripled or doubled what it would be. It just takes a lot longer to mine, which I didn't really want to mess around with. The gather objects spawn interval, this allows ore, stone, sulfur, chests, etc. to spawn back in the world after you mined it completely. So higher it is, the longer it takes for them to respawn. The lower it is, the quicker time for them to respawn. And drop item multiplier, this goes towards the drops that you get from defeating a PAL or capturing a PAL. So the higher this is, the more items you get from defeating or killing a PAL. The lower it is, the less items you get for capturing or defeating PALs. Incubating stuff. So if you keep this at 0, your time for hatching eggs is 0. So basically, you go to your incubator, you select your egg, it instantly hatches. You just have to hold the F button to hatch it. That's the only downside about it. You still have to hold the F button to hatch it, but it's instant. If you have it set to all the way up, it just takes much longer for those eggs to hatch. So if you want instant eggs, keep it at 0. Enable raid events. So if you want raiders to continue to attack you, keep this on. If you don't want raiders to attack you anymore, turn it off. Simple as that. The death penalty. As you know, there are ways when you die, things happen. So you can determine what happens when you die in the map. You can have it where you drop nothing. You drop no pals, no equipment, no items. Or you can have it to drop all items except equipped. So anything in your inventory is dropped when you die. You still keep what your pals and your equipment. Drop all items. You keep your pals, but you drop everything that's equipped to your player and anything that was inside your inventory. And then of course, you drop all items and pals. So everything that you have on your person when you die, you drop on the ground and you have to go back and pick it up. Max number of guilds. This is allows how many people are in it. This is more for like dedicated servers and servers in general. So don't even worry about this at the moment, but max PAL working at base. This determines how many PALs you can have at a given base. You can have the max at 20, so here you can have 20 PALs, or you can just have one per base. Alright, that's going to be it for me today in this video. If y'all enjoy the video, please consider hitting that like button and subscribe to the channel. Turn the bell notification on, that way you know when I go live or post up new videos. I greatly appreciate you guys stopping by and checking this out. And if you have any questions about custom settings, please feel free to add them in the comments and I'll answer them as best I can. Until then, I'll catch y'all in the next video. Take it easy.